Town of Rome Plan Commission Public Hearing, regular meeting to order for Tuesday, April 11th, 2023 at 4 o'clock p.m. Item number 2 is a roll call, starting on my right.
Biesinger here.
Williams here.
Janzak here.
Baker.
Bowman.
Jamadi here.
Gilby here virtually.
Okay. Also present are Town Administrator Jamie Gebert, Town Zoning and Planning and Zoning Administrator Emily Zeddies, and Town Attorney Nick Flanagan. Item number 3 is to certify the posting of the meeting. Emily.
The agenda for the April 11th Plan Commission meeting was posted at the following locations on March 28th. Rural Municipal Building at 7:58 a.m., Quick Trip at 9:10 a.m., Nakusa Port Edward St. Bank at 9:21 a.m., it's emailed to the Wisconsin Daily Tribune at 8:01 a.m., emailed to the town website at 8:05 a.m., and the legal notice was printed in the Wisconsin Daily Tribune on March 28th and April 4th.
Thank you. Item number 4 is to approve the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Jerry, second by Dan to approve the agenda. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'm sorry? Oh, Diana, thank you. I'll remember to ask you specifically again. Item number 5 is the citizen comment portion of the agenda. Jamie or Emily, is there anybody who wishes to speak?
We did not receive any cards.
Okay. Item number 6, or the next section is no action contemplated except possible referral to a future agenda. Item number 6 are informational updates, recent correspondence, current events, and announcements. Well, then I will. I would like to, this is Supervisor Goldman's last meeting, and it's also Supervisor Wiesinger's last meeting, so on behalf of the Planning Commission, I would like to thank you for your service to the town. Or did I take your thunder?
No, he applied for reappointment.
Okay, but he wasn't reappointed yet, right? Okay,
Potentially last meeting?
One correction, Mike, it's not supervisor anymore.
okay, that's true. Okay, so, gentlemen, thank you for your service to the PFC, not to the PFC, to the Planning Commission. PFC is another one.
Stop before the meeting. You needed to, huh?
Item number 7 is to open the public hearing. 7A, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose: the short-term rental at the property located at 347 Twin Lakes Trail, owned by Cynthia Altenberger, also described as Lot 1 of CSM 5263, located in the southeast 1/4, northeast 1/4, section 15, town 20 north, range 5 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, parcel number of 030-221-20. Emily.
Letters were sent to 5 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property. Staff recommends a maximum occupancy of 8, maximum vehicles of 4 to be parked on hard surfaces, not on the lawn or grass at the property. The applicant has completed all license requirements, including the property manager within 25 miles which is on record with the town. And Michelle is here on behalf of this property.
Okay. Michelle, do you want to come up and tell us what your thoughts or plans are for the property?
Cynthia's my mom,
Okay.
and my husband and I are going to be managing the short-term rental for her.
Okay.
So my mom bought this property after my dad passed away as a place for our family to gather. Sorry. And we love it so much, but we can't be there all the time, so we decided let's let other people enjoy it also. So we just kind of started to get to work, and we're just looking forward to sharing it with other people in the area. I should also add that I grew up coming to Lake Camelot. My aunt and uncle live on Camelot, and so this is just like a special place to me. It feels like home.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
So, do you live then, where do you live then, that you'll be managing the property?
I live in Marshall, but we have a local property manager within 25 miles.
You will have a local
Yeah,
property
it's
manager?
on file.
Bill and Connie Finley on Sussex Court will be their local manager.
Very good, thank you.
I just want to mention that we did have one letter received or email received from is it a Michelle Kimmick? Indicating several reasons or things that they would like to see done prior to the short-term rental going into effect. And that would, I guess, be on file with the planning and zoning.
Yeah, so I did address a couple of these with, Michelle. I think a, suggested, condition could be, required use of the private driveway since there is one, and not allow access by the shared driveway that would be, shared with, their property and your neighbors, or
Is
sorry, your.
Michelle our neighbor?
I believe,
Okay.
yes,
I
it would
recognize
be
the
the
name.
one with the shared driveway,
Okay,
yes.
yep, okay. We've already spoken to her and she, the first time I didn't, my husband and my mom, she expressed that right away, so we already knew. So we already moved our fire marker to the private driveway. We haven't moved our mailbox yet, we can do that. We already have, our Airbnb isn't live, but we've kind of prepped it online, it's snoozed. But we have in the description to use the private driveway. And then we'll also be putting markers, aside from just the fire marker, but like fluorescent markers and then an actual sign out there. So we're hoping people don't use the private, but of course, we don't have complete control over that. So I don't know, did she have other suggestions?
So I think most of the concern was over the use of the shared driveway and possible, I think including a letter with the short-term rental, suggesting or advising that, their property is not for use with the short-term rental, and just being clear with the rules with the short-term renters.
You could additionally leave the property manager's phone number with the neighbors, so if there would be somebody that would use that shared driveway, you could just ask for them to give a call, and they could make the contact with you to have those vehicles moved right away.
Sure.
I mean, you can also do that through the 24-hour hotline, but if you feel comfortable with the Finleys on Sussex, they could just make that contact with you if that would occur.
Right, okay, yeah, we have plenty of space for parking, so I'm not worried about parking on her lot. The way the lot's set up, there's really no reason to even go near her lot, cause there's like a garage in between. So I don't think it would be an issue as long as people follow the rules and use, and like I said, we have like 4 different ways that we're marking the other ones, so. And again, it'll be listed in email, confirmation emails as well as on the actual listing, so. I think we've covered our bases to try to get people to not use that one, but I guess moving the mailbox would be another thing.
Do you get mail there?
Nope.
Do you
Not
need
a
the
single
mailbox
piece.
then?
Nope.
Okay. I mean, cause I guess the other piece would be if you're not receiving mail there, you could just take the mailbox down.
Okay,
couldn't you?
I didn't know if that was legal. We literally haven't gotten, she bought it in August.
Yeah, there's not a requirement that you have a mailbox
Okay.
if you don't
No.
receive mail.
And if someone were to send something,
I don't,
what would
yeah,
happen?
they would probably hold it at the post office
Okay.
for pickup, if for
Okay.
some reason. You might cut down on junk mail though with not having it.
Yeah, well, we don't even get that. Literally not a single thing has come in the
Yeah.
mailbox. What about, yeah, I guess. Sorry, never mind.
I was gonna ask a question. You may start getting mail now that if you're part of a renting service, correct? So I mean,
It all goes to my mom's address,
for
everything.
sure, okay, all right.
Including like correspondence that you send, it goes to her house, which
Yeah.
is in here, yeah.
Which is the primary address that's
Yep.
on the deed for the,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The other question I have is just to make sure, did Commissioner Doggy get a copy of this?
I did email it. to
She
her.
did, thank
Yep.
you very much.
So just to keep on the driveway thing, because I did look at the satellite view just to see what that looks like, and there was some suggestion of a fence or other, I don't know if you want to put planters or something across there, but I just feel like that's going to be an issue, but a lot of that is not necessarily within our purview to address, right?
Yeah, so you're just suggesting it so we don't have a neighbor that hates us.
Yeah, yeah.
We're willing to do whatever. I mean, we've only met her once. She was mostly nice, so it's a little shocking, but, you know.
Yeah, but I could see,
I understand.
looking at
There's
what I
more
saw,
traffic.
it seems like that's an easy way to just get out.
Right,
so.
and she's not there in the winter, so maybe she's worried about her home being unattended, you know. So, yeah, we're willing to do whatever, and if, I wish she would've just contacted us, to be honest, cause again, we're like willing to work with her, but, we did move our fire marker right away after she said that, so.
Yep, and this is a common thing for neighbors to do.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm a little caught off guard, so.
Diana, can you hear everything okay?
I can. I do have a question.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I'm not sure if this would be towards Michelle or perhaps towards Emily regarding the width of the non-shared driveway, the private driveway. According to the map, it shows 320 by 12. And when I drove by, you can't see really the house from the street. So I did go up the driveway. It is very narrow, and I'm concerned about emergency vehicles being able to access through that road. And even the shared driveway, which I did go up the shared driveway, that too is very narrow. And I noticed that there were a lot of downed trees, probably from the last storm, where they were just cut off right at the line of the driveway, which concerns me a little bit. And also the turn into the home area is a sharp 90-degree turn with not a lot of clearance. I'm just concerned about emergency vehicles going back there.
Can I ask a question? Was there snow on the ground when you drove in there? I'm just curious.
This was on Easter Sunday.
Okay, so mostly melted, right? I mean,
I don't think there would have been much snow.
There wasn't much snow. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no.
I just got here and there are a lot of trees down, and that's on my list of things to do.
Okay.
So yeah, it's something we're aware of.
The fire inspector, who would be Chief Kane, would have drove in there and did approve the fire inspection. I mean, that's one of the benefits of our methods, right? Going to the end. And he did not mention the concern about the turnaround. He has done that with other short-term rentals. So I think that if he would have been concerned about access, he would have noted that for them, because he has noted that for other properties. But we could put a piece about the trees getting cleaned up as a measurable condition.
Yeah, the whole yard is like down branches, so it's definitely something we have to do anyways, so.
Commissioners, any other questions? Diana, you good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
7B,
Don't go. No, you can stay here.
7B, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose. Short-term rental at the property located at 368 Sequoia Trail, owned by KMKE Holdings LLC, Jeff and Amy Asher, also described as Lot 120 of Kingswood addition to Lake Arrowhead, located in the northeast 1/4, southeast 1/4, section 14, town 20 north, range 5 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, parcel number of 030-3327. Emily?
Letters were sent to 8 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property. Staff recommends a maximum occupancy of 5, maximum vehicles of 3 to be parked on hard surfaces, not on the lawn or grass, at the property. And then the same holds, they have the property manager on file, and they've passed all the inspections and all the previous license requirements. And Danita is here.
Okay.
To represent the property.
Ma'am, you want to step up? Is that red light on for that microphone?
Now it is.
Okay. I might make it easier for Diana to hear. Okay, what would you like to tell us?
My name is Danita Carlson, and I live at 399 Setting Sun Trail, so right here in Rome. And the Ashers did ask me to be the property manager for this property. And my understanding is that they bought it for a vacation home, and like the previous person, they aren't able to be here full-time, and so they wanted to rent it out during the times when they will not be on the property.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions, comments? Diana?
I do have a question.
Sure.
If in the future that lower level is going to be completed, would that require her or them to come back to get additional occupancy, et cetera?
Do you answer?
Yeah, if any more work is done, they would need to come back for an additional conditional use, or to amend the conditional use permit to increase the occupancy.
Okay, thank you.
And just a general note, amending the conditional use permit would be the same process as the conditional use permit.
Okay. Commissioners, anything else? Okay, thank you, ma'am. 7C, consideration of a site plan of operation for Joshua and Naomi Gotowski for the property described as Lot 3 of certified survey map 6696, located in southeast 1/4, northeast 1/4, section 8, town 20 north, range 6 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, parcel number of 030-641-30. Emily?
Letters were sent to 3 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property. This property was previously approved for a site plan of operation for a sign and display with the use of automobile, truck, motorcycle, camper, snowmobile, boat, ATV, and trailer sales and service. This site plan and plan of operation will be for the addition of a building for the storage of docks and boat lifts at the property. And then Josh is here to represent himself.
Okay.
I'm still moving my business down the road and I'm putting up a building, so I'm back here.
Did I read this right, that the address was like 1022, 1122, which would put you in between Wanger and the boat barn?
Technically
Other way.
Wanger and Wanger.
Yeah,
but
it'd be Wanger and Wanger.
Okay. How much, when I read that it was gonna be for boat lifts and docks or whatever, are you talking new that you're trying to sell, or, because I don't remember ever seeing anybody wanting to store their docks or their piers or their boat lifts indoors?
Well, yeah, that'll be where the inventory sits,
Okay,
the new inventory.
I see, okay.
You're not storing anyone's boat docks or lifts?
No, it's for, yeah, the resale stuff, so.
So are you
Are you
taking
selling it?
used for resale also?
Well, I get trade-ins.
But it wouldn't be, you're not storing other people's boat lifts and docks to put them back in.
Correct.
You're selling them it's your inventory
It's my
for sale.
inventory, yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dick.
Just a general question is, so I see it's the buildings for storage and, is there anticipated outdoor display at all of those?
Yeah, just like the, should be on the little diagram, just like when I was here last time. Same spot for the display.
Yeah, that was approved with the last one.
Yep, I just was wondering if that was gonna be modified in any way.
No.
Can you give us some details about the building that you're contemplating constructing? Because there's no elevation drawing or anything like that. And
40 by 60, that'll be the same builder as who Wanger used. All steel, concrete slab, be a radiant tube for heat, and it will be insulated. Garage doors won't face D, they'll face the opposite direction. It'll have electric. Anything else?
or
This is a pole barn, excuse me.
Uh,
This is going to be a pole building?
Technically call it that, but it'll be more stick built. I mean, it's a slab and then it's framed, so 2-foot stud spacing, 4-foot truss spacing, that kind of stuff. I would consider a pole barn a wide, big posts and wider spacing, but
this is zoned B1.
Correct.
Are you going to have a sales office inside of this building?
nothing in the building, no.
Where
Nothing-
would you be having a sales office?
I generally just meet people there. They look at the display and, we do the transaction wherever, at their house or right there.
Would would that include inside that building that you are proposing?
No, I'm not gonna have any office in there.
But you could close a transaction with someone at that building.
Sure.
So would that technically be considered a sales building?
Are you asking me that?
It's more of a Nick question.
Diana, expand some more. So what are you thinking if it would be sales and
I don't
inventory?
think it would be a permitted or a property that would be subject to a CUP.
How could it not be?
Under the zoning.
Can you say that again? I did not catch it.
That it wouldn't be subject to a CUP, but this is a site plan, so it's not a CUP.
No, I think she's saying it wouldn't be a permitted or a conditional use authorized.
Correct.
Oh.
That is what she's
Okay.
getting at.
What's not a,
That's what I'm saying, yes.
this is symbolic of some of my frustrations here as of late. Gentleman comes, complies largely with all of the conditions we asked for on his original site plan because nobody wanted to look at boat lifts. And now he's going above and beyond, in my opinion, because he won't able to see the building from the road to begin with, putting up a building to store all of his inventory, and we're making it difficult. Just wanted to make that statement.
Well, I just would like to comply with the ordinances that are currently in effect, and I do believe if there are anything to do with sales,
So.
with regard to this building or proposed building, that it would not be
I don't know how
in
B1
compliance
does
with our
not include
ordinance.
sales.
So the use that I listed, does include sales and service. So that's why I listed it would
Of
be
what?
under that use.
Sales and service of what?
So it'd be substantially similar to the sales and service of automobile, truck, motorcycle, camper, snowmobile, boat, ATV. So boat would be the substantially similar to boat lifts and docks for the sales and service.
I disagree.
Which category would you have
That is-
classified this business as, Diana?
I'm sorry.
Which category would you have classified this type of business as?
Sale of docks and lifts. If you look at the permitted uses and the CUP, where he could potentially in the future get a CUP, I don't find this anywhere in there that it falls into a category.
I think that's why we have the substantially similar though, because it's very difficult to have every single use listed. Which is why I put it under this one.
And we have other
I-
businesses also
but I
operating under this,
disagree. It's
correct?
not a boat.
Yeah.
It's a storage facility for a boat.
We did a competitor, how did we classify that down on 13?
I'm sorry, I did not hear who
We
said
did a
that.
competitor within the last year or two.
Sit up, Paul, they can't hear you, your mic's so far
We
away.
did a competitor down on 13 within the last couple of years. Would
That's
that help
awesome.
us at all? How was that categorized?
That is also B1. I would have to pull it to make sure, but I believe it would be under this same use. But I would need it confirmed to give a for sure answer.
Okay.
But I believe it was under a permitted use. I don't recall seeing a conditional use in that property file.
Just a general comment. So I think what we're hearing is there's not going to be a sales office, that it's largely going to be storage of inventory, that there may be showing of something, you know, that whether that's the outdoor display or inside, but the transaction isn't contemplated as taking place out of an office, so to speak. I understand the concern. I would agree with the zoning administrator. In this situation, I think it's likely consistent with our past approach as far as how we categorize this. Had this perhaps been a contemplated office where sales were going to be actively taken, you know, out and you know, and traffic coming in and out, I think that would have been more consistent with active sales versus storage of inventory, which is why I was asking the question I did at the outset.
I have a question then in regards to that same thing with sales. When you said you might be taking some transactions there with, does that mean you'll be receiving money there? Will you be handed cash? Will you be taking credit cards? Are you using a Square? I mean,
No credit cards, no Square. It's a cash or check business only. Is it possible? Yeah, generally that's not.
so that's.
I mean, because I already have a display, right? It's already at Greens,
We're
right?
just asking the questions.
So,
We have to be thorough because.
I don't ever take, yeah, the transaction usually never happens there. That's usually just where they go to look at this stuff. So,
Yeah, because don't most people pay after you install it?
correct.
Yeah, that's where the transactions typically take place.
Where is your office located?
I don't have an office, well, like a home office.
Your business is registered to your home address, ultimately, right?
Correct.
And you currently have a display at what was Green's. Yeah.
Yes.
So now if someone would see your display there, they probably call the number and you arrange some sort of appointment with them at their home or someplace.
That is how it works.
Most people buy boat lifts out of the catalog, not necessarily go and look at one, because they're generally not every model set up for people to look at either. So,
Another
Is
question?
this, the building that you are proposing, is that going to have HVAC?
Say that again.
The
The
building
building?
that you're proposing is going to have HVAC.
We'll have a radiant tube heater. Yes, it will have heat.
You said it would be insulated.
And it will be insulated.
Yep.
That would lead to my question. I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry, Diana. Go ahead, Diana.
No, that's okay, Lori, go ahead.
I had a question about sanitary. Will that building have sanitary?
No.
Because it does say on here, this lot, on your CSM, or the survey that you provided, the survey map, it says this lot is considered unbuildable until all approved sanitary permits are obtained from Adams County Planning and Zoning. So I was just curious about the sanitary. So you're not gonna have any sanitary use there whatsoever?
No.
That is something that goes on every single CSM.
Okay.
I will not approve it until it's on there.
Great, thank you for
By
the
our ordinance.
clarification.
Yep.
By our, okay, great, thank you.
The color scheme that we have been noted on the sheet, those are appropriate for this building?
Yeah. Unless you guys disagree.
No,
It's, I mean, earth tones, the roof's darker than the siding.
Yeah, I know.
I disagree. I believe that it says that no gray in the ordinance. It says earth tones, natural tones, except no gray. I don't have it in front of me, but it does say no gray. Spelled differently.
Well, it's marked gray.
It's called charcoal.
Yeah,
The-
the roof is charcoal.
Right.
The siding,
It's green, but it's labeled gray, unless it's just a bad,
It could be,
bad,
printing.
yeah, printing.
This color should be primarily 80% earth toned in appearance with accents, 20% of a contrasting color. No white, gray, or primary colors used as the overall color of the building.
Where are you seeing that in ordinance, Lori? Do you have it as part of ordinance that's pulled
I'm
up?
guessing she's under the standards. I'm just getting to it. but-
I'm sure you'd be flexible with regard to that, right?
I don't care about color.
No.
Lori's reading from the overlay, I believe.
I mean,
and
the
This is
boat-
Oh,
outside.
wait.
this is outside the
Yeah,
overlay.
so-
It's outside of the overlay.
So I'm in 360-131 standards, under the design standards section of our ordinance. It says, earth tone colors are strongly preferred, color accents must be visually compatible. Roofs with darker earth tone colors expected. All sides of a structure shall receive full design consideration. All projections and mechanical details such as louvers, exposed flashing flues, vents, gutters, downspouts are to be recognized as architectural features and should match the color of the adjacent surface or an approved complementary color.
I understand this is all troublesome and intimidating at times, so just bear with us. Our
Well, I've
questions are,
been here enough.
yeah, so just bear with us. I
Nothing's
know it's.
intimidating.
Oh, well, you just seem a little
Although-
uncomfortable. I don't know.
No, I'm really
so-
happy at this one because the Papa Bear's not here, so. And it's not gonna take 3 hours, it's not gonna take 3 hours.
No, it's just so,
Attorney Flanagan,
Yes, Diana?
can you please repeat, what, citation?
The ordinance?
What, are you asking for this
Yes.
ordinance I take? Yeah, so
That you
I'm,
just read
yes,
from?
I'm under Article, it'd be 26. Then it'd be Section 360-131 is the standards. And then B under that is the building. Were you
Okay.
reading out of the gateway standards?
I was,
Okay,
yes, under commercial A sub-district.
right, and this is set back outside of the gateway.
Yes.
So you'd want to look,
Okay.
you'd want to look to 360-131.
Got it.
I swear, I went through her.
Okay, so the selected colors are appropriate.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for
Thank
this?
you for clarifying that.
Okay. Any other questions for this gentleman?
The only thing that was,
I just have, so even though this building is going to be right by that display, you're gonna have it insulated and heated with a radiant type of a heating, that it will not be utilized in any way, shape, or form for the selling of dots or tiers?
Correct.
Okay.
My last,
Um,
I have a question I have a question on the sign permit that was submitted with this application. It says sign will be max dimensions, and then we have this. Is this your actual proposed sign?
Well, that's not, I mean, that's an example, that's not my sign. It will be probably a 4x8 sheet of patinaed rusty metal, plasma cut, and then there'll be stainless backing, just like the picture shows, to accent the
So that's
cutouts.
the, like,
That, I put in there because I was under the assumption last time I came that I had to have a, what do we call them, monuments? Monument signs.
Yep, and
Apparently
it has since changed.
that has since changed, so I don't need that as a base, so it'll just be 2 posts.
So,
That's his example. He would provide us what it's gonna look like before actually installing.
all right. Okay, thank you for that clarification.
And it's going to be a ground sign then? Not a monument sign, but ground sign.
Ground sign has the 2 posts.
With the two posts. Thank you.
The ground sign.
Diana, you have one more question?
Yes, I have a question, and I'm not sure who can answer this, but when you filled out your site plan and plan of operation, you had a parcel number of 0015, and that's the tax identification number of the parcel. It is 0030. Is that correct? And in addition, on the sign application, I believe you have 0015 as the tax parcel number. I can't locate 0015 anywhere. I've tried through the county, and can someone tell me where 0015 is?
Diana, just a general note, so if you look at the sign permit application, the zoning administrator
Yes.
has corrected that up at the top. So, under that office used only, we can certainly ask that the applicant update that and initial it if, we can certainly do that.
Okay, and also then on his site plan and plan of operation checklist, it shows 0015.
We can update that as well.
Okay, so it, all along, it's always been 0030.
Yes, it should have been.
Okay. Okay. I also noticed that you have one parking space designated by the building, and that it's for an employee parking. But if you have visitors to the property or come up back there to look at your inventory and what you have, is one parking space going to be enough?
I mean, it'll be a big gravel lot. There'll be plenty of room to park. I can draw more parking spaces on the site plan if need be.
My other question is with regard to the driveway itself. I could not read the information from Triple M Construction. It was so faint, I couldn't read one of them. Did that have anything to do with the gravel or the driveway, or if it's gonna be finished, or I didn't know what that was. I saw something that said concrete, but I don't know what that is.
The building will have a concrete slab.
In the future, maybe you can be sure that we have a copy that we can read.
Yeah, it didn't transfer well. I tried to darken it.
I appreciate, and maybe you can make sure that when you bring us copies that they're easier for the zoning administrator to work with.
Sure.
For us, thank you.
What's your paving plan for the driveway?
Whatever I gotta do.
We covered this in the last, site plan. I don't remember what we ended up at, but it was covered.
I believe it's, don't you have 18 months to pave it, and it's the 200 feet?
Right, okay.
Because the 200 feet is visible.
Just so it's covered there someplace, okay.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be a bond of some kind, or a surety letter, or anything with regard to this aspect?
I do not believe we had one in place from when that was decided at the last meeting.
Can one be placed under now?
For the paving, is what you're asking?
The 18 months and the surety that,
I don't think it would be bond. I can tell you, Attorney Flanagan can correct me if I'm wrong. In other situations where there's been a promise to pave and it hasn't been paved, then we've done through a special assessment, but there hasn't been roads, yes, bonds, but not individual property.
Yeah, we've definitely done bonds for roads pursuant to our ordinance. How we've obtained compliance if we needed to, in the cases of driveways, has been done through both enforcement by way of perhaps their approved or not approved site plan, if they don't follow that through, or the special assessment process.
okay.
Anything else?
I believe that's all I have, thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, anything else? Okay, thank you, sir. Item number 7D, consideration of proposed amendments to Chapter 360 zoning, Article 8, R2-1, and two-family and manufactured dwelling residence district regarding camping units. Nick, is that you?
Sure, I can just give a general overview. We had discussed this at the last Plan Commission meeting. As you will recall, actually, I think a future item on two meetings ago's Plan Commission meeting as well. The process that we followed to update our zoning ordinance related to camping units did address all of the residential districts except for R2. And so R2 was inconsistent with some of the other residential districts. We had reviewed this at the last meeting. The recommendation was to remove, so you'll see the language struck, and then, so then since any permitted use in the R1 district would apply, you would look to R1, which sets the standards for the camping units.
Any questions? Okay. Move on to 7E, consideration of proposed amendments to Chapter 360 zoning, Article 9, R3, multifamily residence district regarding condominiums. Nick?
Also, you may recall, we had discussed at the last meeting and reviewed our ordinance in R3 related to the permitted use category for what had been worded 3 through 8 plexes and condominiums with approval and review of Chapter 703 state statutes. The conversation was had related to the interpretation of that as it relates specifically to the condominium developments. After the discussion, the recommendation was to pull out the condominium language and have it in its own section. You'll see that reflected in two different areas. One, under the permitted uses, It's duplex through eightplex condominium developments, of course, with the same kind of language of approval of chapter 703. Then under conditional uses, those are condominium developments with 9 or more dwelling units in a single building, again, with the approval of the condominium requirements in chapter 703.
Questions? Diana?
Well, unfortunately, I do have a question on the, on item number, D. Would we be able to go back to that quickly?
Sure.
Items.
Which item?
7D?
7D, that's with regard to the camping units.
Okay.
Go ahead.
When I was reviewing this, I found, statements that were made in the ordinances, et cetera, that if, it says then that outside the subdivision, you then would be able to have the 2 camping units, and et cetera. Do we have any property in the city, or, I'm sorry, in the town with regard to, residential units being outside of a subdivision? Or is everything that's zoned R1 through 5, that's all considered subdivision?
There's very,
Anything
very little.
outside of that is not a subdivision?
Not necessarily outside of that. I believe there is some R1 that is technically not in a subdivision and on the southwest side of town. But there's very little of those properties. But they are there.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, then item 8 is to close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Jerry to close the public hearing. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next section is discuss and possible action on the following items. Number 9, discussion of possible action on the meeting minutes from Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
And there's a motion by Jerry, second by Jeff to approve the minutes from Tuesday, March 14th. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 10, discussion of possible action, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose. A short-term rental at the property located at 347 Twin Lakes Trail, owned by Cynthia Altenberger, also described as Lot 1 of CSM 5263, located at the southeast 1/4, northeast 1/4, section 15, town 20 north, range 5 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, parcel number of 030-221-20.
Just a quick reminder, items 10, 11, and 12 all have findings of fact. If you could make note of that and consider that for your motion.
And we heard in public hearing about if we wanted to add anything about the down trees being removed and any additional markings to denote the, block off the shared driveway.
Sure, there's still discussion.
Okay. I just want to go back to something that was during the public hearing that I'm concerned too. I'm familiar with this area. Before that was blacktop, that was just one long dirt road at one time, so I'm familiar with how small those driveways really are in person. So I understand what Commissioner Dolge was talking about. And I understand that our fire chief has had a look at it and approved it, but don't we have an ordinance saying that new driveways have to be built to a certain size? These driveways are quite small, and I think, having looked at that as well, there is a concern there. I think it should be made, I don't know how we make a note of it, but rescue vehicles may in fact have trouble getting in and out of that driveway. So if we're going to allow that to be a short-term rental, I'm just I'm raising a concern as in conjunction with what Commissioner Dalgy did, even though the fire chief has approved it.
Is the driveway there, I'm just gonna look at is the driveway over 200 feet?
Over 300.
Would, so now by ordinance, if you're over 200 feet, you'd have to have a Y turn included, so they could come in and back out. I don't know where that shared driveway is, if that would create an option for a Y turn, that would be in there.
So can I? The shared driveway would actually be harder to get in because there's a very sharp turn
Here.
at the road, like my van is getting scratched. So if they came in this way, our lot goes to here, there's plenty of space to like pull in here, back like this and pull forward like that.
Yeah.
So you
Without
could do a
going
Y
on
turn.
her property.
Yeah.
Cause our driveway goes up, it goes left, there's a parking spot, this way is a 2-car garage, and then it goes this way,
Okay.
about 2 to 3 car lengths before the property ends and then her, but that's the shared driveway, that
Okay,
way.
that's probably why
It would,
Chief was okay with it.
would make a Y turn there, that they could back up and.
Yeah, so there'd be like 2 Y turns essentially, cause you could go either direction.
So
But
with
it's-
that being a shared driveway, is there a way to denote that, which one is the, oh, okay. Thank
Right,
you.
and I think the applicant said they would put markers up that it was a shared driveway,
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's, yep.
so
We'll
that,
put that in the findings of fact.
yeah, that would have to be part of the motion, but
Yes.
that,
My one concern if we block it is if emergency vehicles need to get to her house, they won't be able to. They would need to use our driveway.
yeah. And if it was be a simple fence or planters, I feel confident that
They could just drive.
they would
Alright.
drive over.
It's a,
What is
Nick?
the
it sounds like
25
it's a shared easement. I would caution us to be putting requirements of,
It's an
putting-
easement.
it sounds like it is, according to the letter that we received, and the shared driveway, which means that it's not just this property using it. I would caution us, in trying to rope it off or block it in some way. It sounds like the applicant is willing to put certain things in place with the rental, whether it be, actually, it sounds like all of the listing, the rules, anything they can do to discourage use of the shared driveway, so be it. I just think when we're talking about a shared driveway and access to somebody else's property, we shouldn't be encouraging or putting in a condition that would impede the property rights of others in our consideration of this, this application.
Yeah, and the letter writer mentioned that it's posted. It's, no trespassing signs are up, so.
And that's absolutely
I didn't
understood,
hear-
but bottom
I
line
didn't
is
hear any of
safety.
that.
Yeah. And so safety being a consideration both for this property and
The other
probably
property
the other
owner.
property. The comment that was made as far as being able to get emergency vehicles in and navigate around, I think it's been said, but the way that we capture that in our process is through the fire
All right.
chief, and so we have to trust that unless we want him to take a look again, otherwise we have to put our trust in his expertise and,
Okay.
and knowledge that an emergency vehicle can get back in there. Otherwise, we absolutely have put in requirements we have, that they put in Y or cul-de-sac or some turnaround ability to get an emergency vehicle back in there. So I feel confident that
Okay.
we have that in our process. In the event that it would have been a concern, we could have absolutely put that condition in place.
I don't think Chief Kane would hesitate to make this a requirement if he was concerned. He's not shy
I
about it.
wasn't questioning his judgment, I just wanted to be sure
Yeah.
about the safety for both property owners and what's actually there.
Diana, were you able to hear that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I don't believe you have a motion on the.
No, we do not.
I would like to make a motion that we approve of the, conditional use permit. Wait, let me read. For the conditional use permit for the following purpose, the short-term rental at the property located at 347 Twin Lake Trail owned by Cynthia Altenberger, with the legal description as in the agenda with parcel number of 0300002210020. And with the condition that the downed trees that are impeding the width of the driveway be removed, and that the findings of fact be incorporated into this approval.
Second.
Okay, motion by Diana, second by Jeff to approve the conditional use permit. Is there other discussion amongst the commissioners?
Just a question. Are commission members trespassing if they're entering properties?
To inspect an application, so pursuant to an application, whether it's a conditional use permit, typically that's not the case. They wouldn't be trespassing. It's the same as Board of Zoning Appeals. Those variance applications, those members can go and inspect the property as well.
Okay, thanks for clarification.
On the bottom of the conditional use permit, it says signature on this form grants consent for department staff and plan commissioners to enter the property for inspection related to the application. Then it goes forth and saying you can't go into a dwelling, that kind of thing, but it does give consent.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. Then all in favor of the conditional use permit, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 11, discussion of possible action, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose. A short-term rental of the property located at 368 Sequoia Trail, owned by KMKE Holdings LLC, Jeff and Amy Asher, also described as Lot 120 of Kingswood addition to Lake Arrowhead, located in the northeast 1/4, southeast 1/4, section 14, town 20 north, range 5 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-3327.
Motion to approve the conditional use permit for 368 Sequoia Trail, including the findings of fact.
Second.
Motion and second been made. Is there any other discussion on this conditional use permit?
I would just like to make a comment that this is a cul-de-sac, and that all of the other properties in that cul-de-sac do have homes on them, with the exception of one parcel at the very apex of it, and that I think we should be cognizant of density issues. And this one I'm comfortable with, basically because it's got the 5-person occupancy and the 3 cars. But if that lower level is completed, then I would have an issue with regard to additional traffic on that cul-de-sac. And I'm just going back, Attorney Flanagan, to my density problem. That's
Okay.
all, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Motion was made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 3, discussion and possible recommendation to the town board. Consideration of a site plan of operation for Joshua and Naomi Gutowski for the property described as Lot 3 of Certified Survey Map 6696, located in the southeast 1/4, northeast 1/4, section 8, town 20 north, range 5 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-641-30.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval to the town board. What are we doing? The site plan of operation for 1122 County Road D and incorporate the findings of fact.
Second.
For consideration, the sign permit application, there was some mention of there was gonna be a final design brought forward.
He has not provided a logo or design yet, but that would need to come to us first.
Come
And
to
I
us,
think-
meaning, does it have to come to the plan
It does
commission or
not
can it
need
be
to come to
approved
the
by
plan
you?
commission, but I would approve it like I do with all other sign permits in town. If you would like, I can bring it as a, to show you guys prior.
Can we just add it as an explicit condition that the zoning administrator approve the final design of the,
Do you want to bring it back here, or do you just want
oh,
to?
I don't think it needs to come back here. I think that's what we have
Eh,
Emily for.
Then with an additional condition to have the zoning administrator approve the final plan for the sign.
Could we also just note in the minutes that the plan commission agrees with the colors? That we are comfortable with the colors that are selected?
We might should do that every time. Yes, and what else, we just say we approve the colors?
Yeah, I just think, just noting it in the minutes that that the plan commission is, I don't think it needs to be a condition, but that you're okay with the colors.
Jerry, you okay with the amendments?
Yes, I'm fine with it.
Diana, you were gonna say something?
Well, I was wondering, the new business information sheet that was provided to us for this meeting, is that something we should be taking into consideration at this point?
So that's essentially a list of things that they acknowledge that we would love to see all of it, but they're not required to provide all of it, but they have read and reviewed it, and they are essentially okay with everything they are presenting.
Okay, so when we're talking about the building design, it says samples required. And you said that these are things that are not necessarily required, but it does say samples required. The paper that he provided to us showing the colors, is that considered a sample?
It would be a sample of the color. Sometimes we would, for some people, we would require that they bring in the actual, because we know it's going to be a metal building. Sometimes if it's going to be a stone building, like a stone accent, we'll require them to bring in that sample.
For your benefit, Diana, we do have the actual color swatch sheet here present with us, not just the scanned copy that you're looking at.
Okay.
That does bring up another, he said it was going to be stick-built, not a metal building, so did we want to add that to the
It's still going to be metal siding.
Metal
but It'll
siding.
be stick-built.
stick-built? Okay.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
I actually have a question. Can I use any colors I want? Or what is the deal with the color thing?
Earth tone.
It has to be earth, so I'm 200 feet back, but it still has to be earth tone?
Yes, that's
Yes.
townwide.
Okay. Is the boat barn earth tone?
That's why we have it in the motion.
That's the reason that we had that little side discussion.
And grays are earth tones? Or,
Grays are an acceptable color for a business district outside of Gateway.
okay, sounds good.
I would just add to that, if for some reason you couldn't get the colors that you've denoted today, before materials would be ordered, we would ask that you call and talk to Emily about if it would change in color to what was noted today.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Anything you ask.
thank you.
Is this an amended site plan?
It is, so he was here previously to approve of a sign and display for the docks and boat lifts, and so today he is coming back for the approval of the building.
And this is all on lot 3?
Is it lot 3?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, all on lot 3.
So this is not an amended site plan. My basis for asking this question is, if this were an amended site plan, would the commission be allowed to take into consideration the prior site plan that was approved.
How so? Can you give an example of what you're getting at, or where you're going with that?
The display,
The outside display?
the allowance of the display, yeah.
You mean the inventory display?
I think she's
The
referencing.
display that he has out in front of the tree line.
Yeah, I think she's referencing the previously approved display, and she's wanting to know if we can consider this as a whole site plan rather than just the building area.
That display is outside of the overlay district though, so
It is.
I don't think there was much we had to say about that.
Mm-hmm. And we already approved it.
I think what she's asking is if this negates, if I'm understanding, is she asking if it negates what we approved before?
No.
That wasn't what I.
Oh, all right,
Well,
then I should just.
But if it is, that's a good clarification. If that is what is being asked, it would not negate what was approved before and the conditions therein.
But I think Diana's asking,
Okay.
could you make adjustments to the prior approval, which
That's me, okay,
I don't know that you could either.
I'm trying to think of an example, like if we approved something and,
Yeah.
like, and it was already going on and it's happening.
I can give an example that would come to mind, I suppose. It would be if you approved a site plan for something, a building, for example, this one. And the building went up and you wanted to use it for a different use or modify the building or expand or demolish the building. Then he would need to come and certainly all of that would be back on the table, I would suspect. This is moved outside of where you considered the previous site plan of operation would be the only other comment I would have to this.
But it all still is on lot 3.
It's the same property, yes.
Okay.
You only own lot 3, correct?
Correct.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Okay, then, all in favor of recommending this site plan and plan of operation to the town board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried with Diana voting in the nay. Item number 13, discussion of possible recommendation to the town board, consideration of proposed amendments to chapter 360 of zoning, article 8, R2, 1 and 2 family and manufactured dwelling residence district regarding camping units.
Motion to recommend town board the proposed amendments to 360 regarding camping units in R2.
Second.
Motion and second been made. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried with Diana voting in the nay.
No,
No, she
no.
voted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was delayed.
I was just, the delay caught me off guard. Motion
Oh,
carried.
I agree.
Motion carried unanimously. Item number 14, discussion of possible recommendation to the town board, consideration of proposed amendments to chapter 360 zoning, article 9, R3 multifamily residence district regarding condominiums.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval to the town board, the changes to the chapter 306 or zoning ordinances.
360?
I'm sorry, 360.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Dan to approve the recommendation to the town board. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Motion carried. And item number 15, discussion of possible referral to a future agenda, consideration of proposed amendments to chapter 360 zoning, Article 8, R2, 1 and 2 family and manufactured dwelling residence district regarding manufactured and mobile homes.
I can give just some general background to this. At the last meeting, this was a referral to this agenda with the request to review our standards and requirements related to mobile and manufactured homes, I think specifically actually manufactured homes, if I recall. The materials in your packet are from two locations in our ordinance. First, we have general requirements and regulations in 360-14 related to mobile homes and manufactured homes. And then specifically in R2, that has been also attached in your packet relating to that as a permitted use in the district with the specific language added to it that manufactured homes would be that as it's defined in state statute. One other just general note, I believe the zoning administrator had reached out to our building inspector related to what the regulations are or requirements are for manufactured homes. What's the cutoff really to meet UDC, and is still waiting for a response. And so I know that was a material piece of what was asked for this conversation, and we are still waiting for an answer before we can relay that. I think if that's received between now and the next meeting, we can certainly forward that, because I think that's really the critical piece here is what's that cutoff, because that does establish how old the home can be, because it does need to meet certain, I believe, UDC requirements.
Thank you.
Okay, dates and times for future agenda meetings. So item number 15 would be on a future agenda if you get the information back from the building inspector. Do you have any other short-term rentals or anything that are coming up?
I believe we have one short-term rental.
I think the one that we have is an ask for an increase in occupancy, yep, due to adding a bathroom.
Okay. We have a preliminary plat, and that is for Rometown Center. We have a comp plan and rezone, which is related to a conditional use permit for a communication tower. And then there's also an additional conditional use permit for an additional communication tower, so there'd be two sites for the communication towers. And then a possible site plan amendment. It should be next month. And then we're still waiting on comprehensive plan updates.
Okay.
I would just clarify the plat for RTC is not due to someone buying land and dividing it up. Because we're putting through the roads, they need to be platted, and that's gonna make more than 4 parcels, which is why it has to come through here in town board. So it has to do with the development of putting through Timberline and what was originally named Vienna Trail.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they need to see on the next agenda? All right, then the next meeting date and time would be May 9th, 2023 at 4:00 p.m. And I will declare the meeting adjourned at 5:09 p.m.